Greetings! My name is Eve and welcome to my channel. So far, I've documented my process, trials and errors, in paint making. But what about the result? How good can hand-mixed paint be? How does it compare to commercial brands? I wanted to address these questions in this video by making swatches to compare the paints. At the moment, I've got 13 hand-mixed paints in my palette. Some are still prototypes and need fixing, while others are ready to be used. Let's see how they measure up to other brands. The first color I'll be testing is Prussian Blue. Since it's one of my favorite colors, I have it from many companies. Of the ones I've swatched, the handmade paint looks a lot like Sennelier's, while remaining a bit deeper and darker. Next color is Gold Ochre. I do not have a lot of paints with the same pigment, so I added swatches of paints similar in color. Gold Ochre is redder than the other PY42 paint I have. It's possibly closer to an orange at its thickest application. I'm gonna swatch the salmon colored pigment next, and later I'll also add Pozzuoli red to this line since these two are likely to have similar colors in common. PR101 is one of those pigments, like PBR7, that can end up looking very different depending on how it's processed. The first 6 colors of this swatch line are all PR101, and they are all very different. The two swatches at the bottom are of PG23 Green Earth. This pigment is notorious for being harder to re-wet, and it lives up to its reputation here. I think my paint shows its weaknesses. It spreads unevenly and it's not super smooth. This is one recipe I know I need to work on. Apricot is a paint I do not have a good match for, since it's made of a mix of 3 pigments. The closest I have in color is Van Gogh's Maple Yellow Reddish. Same for Green Umber in the sense that while it's a single pigment paint, I only have one other paint that is similar. Actually, this Handmade green umber is not very green and very close to Van Dyke brown. The next color is another favorite, genuine indigo. I had never tried the real thing before. It's an expensive pigment and it's also not very light fast, which could be why it's not produced as a commercial paint. Indigo is a plant-based pigment that smells a little weird when you work it, but so far I haven't noticed the smell of it when painting. The color that matches this one the best is Daniel Smith's Mayan Dark Blue. Van Dyke Brown is another color I do not have a good pigment match for. I compared it to Daniel Smith's color of the same name. They are a bit different in intensity, but very similar in color. I also compared my brown ochre with Daniel Smith's brown ochre. It's the same pigment and the color is very similar. The unmixed version is smoother, but that's the only difference. As for the last color I swatched, it's also PR102, the same as Pozzoli Red on the other page. I tried to find colors that look similar to this one, but couldn't find a really good match. There are two colors I didn't swatch on the comparison sheets: Mars Black and Titanium White. I do not have any similar black to compare Mars Black to, and while this white works fine, it is not my final recipe and I didn't want to include it here. I will be posting photos of these swatches on the Facebook page if you want to check it out. Which color is your favorite? Which color do you think I should mix next? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for tagging along in these paint making adventures. Have a great day!